Hey, welcome. I guess our countdown to start the show did not work tonight, so I'm jumping right live into the show. So, welcome, yo-yo enthusiasts, to another episode of Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk, the show where we dive deep into the weird and sometimes wallet-draining world of yo-yos. I'm your host, of course, Doc Lucky Meisenheimer, coming to you live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is the first Thursday of the month, so that's when we have the show. And if you're just tuning in and wondering why I look a little jet lagged, well, it's not because I just got back from England looking for yo-yos, but because I am old and I always look this way. Now, before we dive in, let me remind you, if you have got questions or comments or want to share your own yo-yo adventures, please drop them in the chat. This isn't Doc Lucky talking to you for an hour show. It's Yo-Yo Talk, and the reason we do this live is that I love hearing from my fellow Bandalorists out there. And yes, we will have our trivia contest for fame and immortality at the end of the show, so that's something to live for. So make sure you stay tuned, and maybe one of the questions may have part of this show, so you must watch closely. So anyway, I did go to England. I've been back a week, though, so I actually am not with jet lag right now. And this is just the way I look. So I did have a little yo-yo hunt adventure. So picture this, me armed with nothing but a half-empty suitcase, waiting to be filled with yo-yos, a credit card, and a lot of English pounds, which I think most people think looks like play money, so it's real easy to spend. So, and I had this unshakable belief that somewhere in those rolling hills of England, vintage yo-yos were waiting to pop out and pop into my hands. I mean, what could go wrong? This trip was well planned. Old England, old yo-yos, it couldn't be better. So, let me tell you, hunting for yo-yos in England is like trying to find a bottle of Diet Mountain Dew in, well, England. So, my first stop was Stonehenge. Now, this ranks right up there with Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London for tourist attractions in England. So if England ever does give up their monarchy, it's no worries, because they still will have a pile of rocks that people will pay good money to get within 100 feet of to go look at. And you can see my wife and I were there. We were 100 feet back, and that's about as close as you could get to Stonehenge. 1.6 million visitors a year, and you would think that their museum shop would have a souvenir yo-yo, but no, there were no yo-yos there. Now, if you have a souvenir yo-yo from any time period from Stonehenge, please let me know, because first I want to know about it, and second I want to covet it, because I spent a morning looking at a bunch of rocks and I did not come away with a yo-yo. So I want to continue my quest for the Stonehenge yo-yo, but it ended right there. But help me out if you have a Stonehenge yo-yo or know of one. I am really hot to get one. I'll trade something pretty good for it. Now, I wasn't finding anything in the antique shops and the antique malls, and we went through a bunch of them. I was getting pretty desperate, so I was even hitting just some of the regular toy shops, hoping to find any kind of yo-yo, but even those were pretty dry. Although I did pick up, let me show you what I did pick up here, these. And you've probably, if you've been to Europe, you've probably seen yo-yos like this. They're wood yo-yos. They're got characters on this. Got a frog. Here's another one. It's got an owl. They're wood. They don't play well. You know, they kind of suck. But I had to come home with something. So anyway, you see these all over Europe. They're not really playable, and it makes me feel sorry for all the children of Europe. So I figured I would go to Hamleys toy store in London, which, nope, that's not it. That is not Hamleys. That was the one. See if you can find that. Hamleys toy store is this humongous store. It's the oldest toy store, I think, in the world. And they have like 7 floors. Did you not import that picture? Okay, we're going to import that picture just so you can see. If you ever go to London, it's like it seems like it's almost a city block there. It was one the last one I put in. We'll see if anyway, it's this massive store. And so I walk in and I think 7 stories tall, and you would think they would have yo-yos. So I go up to the first, whatever you call them, rep or whoever is there. And I said, where are your yo-yos at? He didn't even know what a yo-yo was. So this did not bode well for my search for yo-yos there. There it is. There's the picture. Yeah, pop that up there. Yeah, there it is. There's Hamleys. You see, look, it's massive. And that's just the first floor. I mean, it goes up 7 floors. There's escalators and all that, and all it is toys. So you would think they would have an entire room or hall devoted to these, to yo-yos. So anyway, they had some yo-yos. Found a clerk that says, we got yo-yos on the 4th floor. So I traipse up there, take a look, and to my utter disappointment, more animal wooden yo-yos. And I must admit that I got a little bit condescending in my tone of voice when I asked the clerk, do you sell any yo-yos that you can actually play? Oh, she says, here is a professional yo-yo. Let me see if, I hope I brought that up. I don't know if I even brought that up. Well, anyway, it was one of these cheap metal yo-yos, and I was going to show it to you, but you know what oh, wait a minute, here it is. I'll pop it up and you'll see how disappointed I was in this. There you go. There's your professional yo-yo. This looks like something you buy on straight out of China. Again, it's probably why we haven't seen any world champions of recent coming out of England. Now, I will say I kept nosing around and did find some yo-yos. These are the Hyper Bandai yo-yos, the Cell. And I did find 3 different models of those. And I didn't have them because these are modern yo-yos, and I don't think they're really sold in America that much. You can get them online. So anyway, I picked up 3 of these. There's another version of there. There were 3 different versions. So I wanted to say at least I got some yo-yos. So anyway, I was pretty disappointed and dejected and all that. And anyway, we were in Bath, England. And let me interject here. You don't need to go to the Roman Bath Museum because they have no yo-yos in their gift shop. Yet another tourist attraction that is totally dead to me. Anyway, that saves you time and energy if you ever happen to go to Bath, England to look for yo-yos. Anyway, we got semi-lost wandering around Bath, and we ended up on the Blue Hare side of town, where all the artsy-fartsy shops are and hangouts. And we found this little shop that sold old tea and cookie tins. Let's see that. Yeah, so I asked if there were any antique shops, and they said, the yellow door. Find the shop with the yellow door. So anyway, you can see the whole shop's yellow there. So we went in, and the shop there was just about as big as what you were seeing there. It was about 10 by 20 feet, and that was about it. And I walked in, looked at all the tins, and he had old tins. They were cookie tins and tea tins. And I guess they collect those. I mean, they went back to the 1850s and stuff. But anyway, before I left, I said, do you have any yo-yos? And he goes, let me see. So he rummages around in the back, and I hear all these cans banging around like, in a garbage can, like he was tossing things around. And all of a sudden, he walks out with this. Okay, so this made my trip worthwhile. It just validated my efforts. When you find one of these yo-yos when you least expect it, sometimes the yo-yo gods will smile upon you and present you with a little dopamine rush. And that is why gamblers keep pulling those one-armed bandits and will probably go back to England again myself looking for more yo-yos because of this one. So finding a yo-yo in the wild is much better than armchair collecting on eBay. So what about this yo-yo? So let me bring this up here and show you it and talk about it a little bit. So this yo-yo is obviously an advertising yo-yo. Apparently it was a common shoe polish back in the day. And the shop owner said, look, he thought it was from the 1920s. And you can see it was based on the way the shoe polish tins were. One side had brown, the other side had black. And he thought from basically the lettering on it, it was from the 1920s. That would have been wonderful. But after doing some research, I pretty much believe this is mid-20th century, probably between 1930 and 1950. Now, I paid 15 pounds for it, which is about $20 US. It is a little dinged up, but I think this would bring somewhere between $40 and $60 on eBay, plus you're going to have to pay postage. So I felt good about the deal, and he felt good about the deal because he doesn't have clients coming in looking for yo-yos very often, like never. And so now, if you factor in airfare, room, meals, this yo-yo was a several $1,000 find. However, there were some side benefits of going to England. The hotel in London did have an excellent shower head with very good pressure, and that was a plus, and it does count for something. Now, so the bottom line is I still like looking for yo-yos in the wild. I got to thinking, what is my favorite English yo-yo? Now, I didn't pick this up in England. I must say I got this armchair buying on eBay. And I may have shown this on a previous show, but I don't recall. But I'm going to show it again, even if I've shown it previously, because it is, to me, a really cool yo-yo. This is a Queen coronation yo-yo. Let me get there we go. And this was obviously the coronation of Queen Elizabeth, and that was in 1953, so we can date this yo-yo. Yo-yos were very popular in England in the early 50s, just like they were in the United States, so it's not surprising they did sell a souvenir yo-yo. They need to keep that up, but they're not. They're falling behind here. But anyway, I was glad to find this, and it's kind of a little prized piece. Those decal seals do come off, so this is a pretty nice find, having a fully intact seal. And it is a cross-collectible. There are people that collect those monarchy type of things. So it might be even more valuable to that type of collector than to the yo-yo collector. But anyway, you're going to expect to pay somewhere between $50 and $100 for a yo-yo like this. So anyway, enough about England. Now, speaking of my projects that make my wife question my life choices, let's talk about my upcoming book on collecting yo-yo string packs and patches. Again, a project I thought was going to take a few months to put together, and it looks like it's going to be a year-long project or maybe even longer. Here's just some of the paperwork. It's just, there are a hell of a lot of string packs and patches out there. And I do appreciate everybody that has been sending pictures of their rare ones and thoughts and comments on these. I keep sending them because I'm still working on the book. Hopefully I'll have it in a published form by Nationals of next year, but no guarantees at this rate. And for those that are new to this particular rabbit hole of collecting, yo-yo string packs are those little glassine envelopes that used to hold replacement strings back in the day. They're like little tiny works of art. I'm also including modern packs as well as the vintage ones. The modern ones sometimes are a little less artistic, but 100 years from now, everybody will be collecting the packs that we're selling now. And they will be going, oh, they stole stuff in poly bags. That's illegal now. So anyway, let's see if we go. Who do we have here? I can't see. Okay, we got Canada Jackson here. RC Yo-Yos is signed in. Don't know if anybody else is here watching, but if you are, give us a shout out. Let us know you're watching. We do have the trivia contest. And RC Yo-Yos ask, what is your favorite find in the wild that you have found? Well, that would be my Flores yo-yo, because you are not a Jedi yo-yo collector until you have a Flores yo-yo in your collection. And I will stop and tell a little story on that. I was at the World Master Swimming Championships. They were being held in Indianapolis, and the days were not going well for me in swimming, because it turned out that was the return of Rowdy Gaines, who was a triple Olympic gold medalist in my age group. So I was racing against Rowdy, so I did not have any first places. I had several second places. But in between times, I was out hunting yo-yos, and I was literally 60 miles away from Indianapolis in this antique mall, and I'd gone through like 200 booths. It was literally the very last booth. There's this yo-yo laying without a mark on it, but I thought, well, maybe it has something on the upside down side, and I thought, do I want to walk all the way back to have the clerk open this case up and check it out? So anyway, I did. And thank God I did, because when they flipped it over, there was that Flores yo-yo logo. And I asked them how much they wanted for it, and they wanted $9.50. And I immediately said, will you take $8.50 for it? And they did. And so I was doing backflips all the way out to my car, which they had no idea why. So that was when I got my first Flores yo-yo, and that's when I became a Jedi yo-yo collector. So now you know the story. Oh, Fred Lindsay picked up one Duncan Lightning on the card out in the wild. And I think I've seen a picture of that from your collection too there, Fred. Fantastic find. That's almost as good as finding your first Flores yo-yo out in the wild. And I will say, I do not have a Duncan Lightning yo-yo on the card. Fred may be the only one that has that. I don't know. So anyway, that's a heck of a find. All right, let me move on. I'll announce that this is the month that we do the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame nominations. And so I'm going to just kind of briefly talk about the nomination process. I have not put out the form yet. I'll get it out probably in the next day or two. I just got behind here getting the show together, and I forgot to do it. But I'll post it in eventually in the video description, the link, and then I'll also post it on the Facebook Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk. So please remember to nominate people. Now, anybody in the yo-yoing community can nominate one individual. There is a one at-large individual and one, I forget what we call them, classic or vintage or something like that. So actually, you nominate two different people. And what happens is the three individuals with the most nominations by December 1st automatically get in the pool of the 10 finalists. Then our executive selection committee, which basically is the past living Hall of Fame members and directors, they choose 7 more finalists out of the all the nominations. So we got 3 that have the most nominations, and then 7 more picked out of the nominations, and that's our final 10. And then in I think the February is when we do the voting for the final 3 inductees, and I think I announced it on the March show is the way we do. So anyway, look for that. Now, when you're nominating, these are people that have made significant contributions to the yo-yo world: players, promoters, manufacturers, inventors, basically anyone who's helped keep this wonderful obsession of ours alive and going. They need to have been active for at least 10 years, so no 8-year-old kids that are phenoms with the yo-yo. Now, here's not what to nominate. Don't nominate somebody who's already in the Hall of Fame. I think we had a picture up there of folks that were in the Hall of Fame earlier, but you can go to the website, nationalyoyohalloffame.com, check it out, and I can't tell you how many people have renominated Bill Du Bois Blanc over the years, but every year he gets nominated, it seems like. He's in. He's good. He's been in for years. So anyway, get those in. I know December 31st, but do it while you're thinking about it, and I will get the nomination form out there, that link down in the description or on Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk Facebook page. So be thinking about that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over and talk about a few oddball yo-yos here that I've just picked up recently, talk a little bit about the history. The first one is this Cross Flags tournament yo-yo. Now you say Cross Flags, everybody knows that yo-yo. Well, okay, here she be. And I just got this off of eBay, and I paid a pretty penny for it. But this is not your normal Cross Flags yo-yo. This is plastic, and this is mint on card. So I knew these existed. I didn't have one. I've seen them loose in some other collections. So here's the thing about this. It's almost like a Flores shape. It's plastic. It's got an imprint seal, probably made by Flambeau for Duncan would be my guess. I don't know the origin of this. At first I thought, well, maybe this was some kind of foreign release, but this is a U.S. card. So if anybody does know the history of this, I can pretty much say this was made between 1960 and 1965. I think probably you're going to find that this was just a short run. Probably didn't go well. But anyway, highly collectible because it's rare. You're probably going to pay in the order of maybe 50, 60 for a loose one. For one in package, maybe 100 plus. It's hard to say. I did a buy it now. I didn't go through auction. So now I just want to show you the real Cross Flags, which I think most of you are familiar with. This is, and there's a couple of variations of the packaging. So this is your standard Cross Flags yo-yo. From the 60 to 65, and the jobbers were still selling them into the early 70s after Duncan went bankrupt. So you still find some of these men on card. You can find a pretty good one of these for maybe 15 to 20 bucks on eBay. If you're looking at packaged yo-yos like this, you're probably talking $25 to $45. You'll see them asking a lot more, like 150 for them, but if you keep your eye open, you'll find these. Now, there are a couple of interesting variations of the Cross Flags. This is, to me, the grand poopah of the Cross Flag. If you can see, this has a glitter finish. They did not make these with glitter finish that we're aware of. This is the same type of glitter finish they used on, like, the Duncan butterflies from this area or the satellite yo-yos from this area. So you're talking really big bucks for these if you can find them. Now, sometimes people don't realize what they have. So this is one of those where the high-end Bandalorist that knows what they're looking for can sometimes pick these up for the price of a regular Cross Flags. But if you knew what it was, you're probably talking $150, $200 mint on card for one of these. They are very rare. Now, here's another unique one. This is mint on card. That should have been a Cross Flags yo-yo, except there is no logo. This was a yo-yo that didn't get stamped by mistake, but still got packaged. So that has more of just the curiosity value. I mean, yeah, because it's on the card and still sealed, you're going to pay maybe a little bit more because it's rare than actual Cross Flags. But I thought this was a very unique variation. Now, they also came out with a re-release of the Cross Flags yo-yo. And this was in, I believe, 2000. This was part of I think, the 75th anniversary. This is a wood yo-yo. It's Cross Flags. And, if you get out of the package, a lot of times people say, well, how do I tell an original from these 2003 Cross Flags? Well, the originals, as you will recall, had a stripe. These are stripeless. They do not have a stripe on them. They also do not have the trademark, the registered trademark with the word yo-yo, and they will have a registered trademark on the word Duncan, which they did not have, and on the word tournament, which they did not have on the original yo-yo. So they're actually pretty easy to tell apart, and they don't even really look like, in my mind, the original Duncan. So you can spot these a mile away if they're out of package. And now sometimes you'll see these on eBay where they're saying 1960s cross. Well, no, it's a 2003. So just be aware of that. All right. So what? Oh, okay. Yeah. So now probably my favorite find from the last few weeks is this yo-yo here. And this is a world-class, I don't know if we can, let's see if I can get this in here. There we go. Duncan world-class yo-yo in the package. Now, I've been searching for one of these for a long time, and I haven't been able to get my grubby little hands on one. You might say it's been a quest for me. This is the original world-class yo-yo, which was released in 1979. And they sold them like this in this type of package till around 1982. And it was pretty innovative for Duncan because it has these metal inertia rings on the outside and has this kind of H look to the side view. That's one that's out of package, which is more like the modern yo-yos that we see today. And it was pretty much cutting edge for the time for its release. The reason it's important to me is because this is the yo-yo I picked up when I was in medical school. And in between classes, I had picked up a trick book, and I would use this yo-yo to go through and learn all the tricks. Now, I had never heard of a Duncan yo-yo demonstrator, nor had even heard of yo-yo contest. I wasn't collecting at the time. I just happened to get that trick book and start going through and learn yo-yo tricks. And by the time I was done, I was the best player I had ever seen or heard of. And I think this is what maybe later on got me interested in collecting several years later. So this one is also a world-class yo-yo, but here's what happened. So in 1990, they had a lot of old stock of these, but they didn't release them on the original packaging. They just released them, I think, in just a little plastic cube or maybe even loose. That was in 1990. They're still old. They're original ones, but this is just old stock. So these are out there. You're probably talking 15, 20 bucks for one of these loose ones. A lot more for one in the package, anywhere from, depending on the quality of the package, 75 to maybe 120 bucks. Now, Duncan did go out and do another release just recently, I think in 2023, and I had to get them because this is like this is a metal. It's all metal, and it's a Duncan World Class 2, and it's got this similar kind of H shape. I'm assuming that it is a much better playing yo-yo than the original one, but had to pick that up. And this one came in a silver color as well. So these are 2023. I don't know if you can still get those. I don't remember if anybody. Simcoe was just asking if we had tried it. I've never thrown it. I assume it throws well. Does anybody remember what these metal ones were selling for retail? I don't know if you can still pick them up retail or not. Oh, I see Jim E. Johnson is signed in, a Hall of Famer. Welcome, Jimmy. So anyway, that's my story on the world-class yo-yos. So anyway, a fun little series to collect now that there's several. I did have something nice happen just 2 days ago. One of my patients walked in and they said, "Oh, we've been out and we're looking for yo-yos for you." So now nothing, nothing like getting a Duncan Lightning or something like that, but she pulled out a nice Duncan Velvet from 1972. These were flocked nylon yo-yos. They came out originally in 72, and then they kept on making them into the, I think, till 75, if I recall. This is the kind of card they would have come on. This was the next version. It does not say, the glare you can't really see, but it does not have 72 on it. So the red and blue are considered, red velvet, blue velvet, are probably considered a little more collectible than the others, but they're all pretty highly collectible because they're early 70s and you're talking, 50 years old now. So very cool yo-yos. Also, she brought me a midnight special. They no longer make. I'm blocking on the year they quit making those and may have made them into the 90s. I'm not sure. Again, with the plastic yo-yos, I recommend collecting them on the card. Midnight specials loose. Not worth the postage NWPs. So you're not going to really see people buying those, but you might see them selling them in the card and getting a little bit of money for them, $10, $12, something like that on eBay. I wanted to show you these. These are also something I picked up, and I've talked about these photo-lithographic seals. It looks like they all came in these poly bags with a header card, and the on one of these, that's from Puerto Rico. Here's another one from, I think, Arizona. Again, these are on poly bags. This one does have a price tag of 99 cents, so they were about $1. These are early 70s. I love these yo-yos. I think they're the classic souvenir yo-yos along with the rainbow yo-yos that are wood. I think if you collect souvenir yo-yos, those are the best series to collect, these photo-lithographic seals. And you can, and the fun thing is they're not horribly expensive. Usually you can pick these up for anywhere from $10 to $20. So a fun series to collect. Now, I wanted to show you this. This is something I got recently too. The reason it caught my eye was because obviously it has the Duncan Yo-Yo, the big G Duncan Yo-Yo seal on it. This is a ham radio card. Now, I don't know anything about ham radios, except I guess when they contact other people, they make little notations, and this is the card. And this person who was doing this was in Luck, Wisconsin, the home of the yo-yo. And he's dated it 1950. So this would be just 1 year after they had opened the Luck plant there in Luck, Wisconsin. So anyway, I just thought it was an interesting little novelty there since it's dated. And thank you, Tim says those world-class metal yo-yos are $60 on sale on Beyond Yo-Yo, so you can still pick those up, and those eventually are going to become collectible. Obviously, they're a lot more expensive than the collectible ones that are loose, but probably a little less expensive than the original 79 yo-yo in the package. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh yes. So everybody's saying, well, what do you want? What are you looking for? Okay, so show me that Batman yo-yo. We're looking for it. Anyway, so there it is. Okay, so this is the English version of the Spectra Star Batman yo-yo. I don't have one of these. I was surprised. I just saw them popping up on eBay. And the problem with buying stuff on eBay from England, as you all Bandalorists know, is that the yo-yo is reasonable priced and the postage is like $4,000. So I covet this yo-yo. There's actually a couple of them on sale, so maybe there's some collectors out there that have this. I've got a lot of duplicates of other Spectra Star yo-yos that I'd be willing to trade. I want to show you the difference between this one and our version. Here is what the US version of the Spectra, so you can see it's completely different graphics. The yo-yo itself looks about the same. I think it is the same, but the graphics on the car are completely different. So, and I'll just show you this too, because they also made, this is the American version of the Joker yo-yo. That's the Spectra Star, and these are all like 89. So they're getting pretty old now. And if you love collecting, and more and more people are starting to collect these character yo-yos because they're cross-collectible, these are just going to keep going up in value. But here is the English version. See, completely different logo on the yo-yo and on the card itself. And if you flip over, they made 4 versions. Now, I'm not sure on the Ghostbusters and the Ninja Turtle. Those are the same looking images that we have on our yo-yos here in the United States, but I don't know if the cards are different. So if anybody you know, oh, Simcoe says UK and EU sellers aren't shipping to the US. Well, that makes sense because now there's a tariff, and it was ridiculous the amount that they were charging already for postage, and that's through the eBay mailing thing. So that's all eBay just ripping people off as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, if you got a Batman yo-yo, I'm certainly interested in trading for that. Okay, what you've all been waiting for all this time is the trivia contest at the end, and we are about there. So I don't know if the Nickinator's watching. If he's not, then everybody has a shot. Who won last time? I forgot who won last month. But anyway, we had a really close one. So I've got 5 or so questions here that we will be asking. Now, you have to do this by answering on the chat, and basically we watch and see who pops up the first. So the first person that pops up with the correct answer wins. And let me go down to my questions. Okay, now the first question is going to be a photograph. Where was specifically this photo taken? Oh, and it's too bad, but you cannot see that there is a yo-yo dangling out of the back of my hand there because the chat is over top of it. But it is kind of reverse walking the dog there. We are crossing, doing a crossing. Where is this? Okay, there you can see the yo-yo down on the little white bar there. Anyway, so famous place. Where is this? Okay, oh, it came in quick. RC Yo-Yo nailed it without. I knew this was going easy. Abbey Road, yes, this is the famous Abbey Road. Yeah, I was in England, so we had to stop by Abbey Road in their little shop to see if they had no yo-yos. They had no yo-yos whatsoever. But I took advantage of the situation to get a very cool photo of Abbey Road there. So we are RC Yo-Yo right now is in the lead, and I guess the Nickinator won last month. So I don't see an answer from him, and he would be pretty quick if he was watching. So it may have just given everybody else a chance. Okay, question number 2. Here is where we separate the casual collectors from the serious Bandalorist. In what year, is a 2-part question, did the first yo-yo go to space, and what was the space shuttle that carried it? Okay, the Jeopardy music is playing in the background. You can't hear it, but you have to imagine it, and we are waiting. We are waiting for the first answer. What year did the first yo-yo go to space? And what was the space shuttle that it went on? I'm seeing no answers yet. You got to get both parts right on this. No, close. Very close. Simcoe. Very close, but not quite. I will tell you one of the part of that answer is correct and just missed it. There it is. RC Yo-Yos. Oh, he's taking an early lead. 1985 and the Discovery, Space Shuttle Discovery. And they were doing that NASA Toys in Space project to see how yo-yos would behave in zero gravity. And, of course, they don't sleep in space because there's no gravity to keep them spinning at the bottom of the string. So, anyway, that's science for you. All right. Now, I'm going to show you this. If you're a loyal watcher of this show, you should get this pretty quick. I'm going to show you this picture. This is a ceramic disc in the Metropolitan Museum that is listed in many books and publications as a yo-yo, but what do I, meaning Doc Lucky, believe that it represents? And it's not a yo-yo. What do I call this? And I've got pretty good evidence now, if you've watched any of the shows, to say that this is definitely not a yo-yo, but rather this. What is this object? This is 500 BC from Greece, and it is a ceramic disc. Bobbin, thank you. And Simcoe is on the scoreboard now in second place because RC Yo-Yo is in first place. All right. Okay. Jimmy Johnson is confusing the image on the pottery that is a little oil container called Erybalos, but that's a different thing. So, okay. So we are going on to our next question, question 4. And this is if you were paying attention. What year was the original world-class yo-yo released by Duncan? This answer should be quick, folks. It's who can type the fastest if you've been watching the show. It's going to show up any second now. There's just a slight delay from when I talk about it to when you guys' fingers hit the keyboard. But I am sure 1929. Okay, that did not come out the way I thought it was going to come out. All right. No. Oh, people are not paying attention at all. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to have to emphasize it. Maybe write it on the chalkboard when I'm saying it. No answers correct yet. I did say this. I'm pretty certain I said it more than once, actually. My career as a yo-yo instructor, teacher, professor is coming to an end. Well, at least we're in the right decade. Oh my gosh. They're just going to start throwing numbers out now. Oh, I'm not seeing it yet. No, come on, guys. Rewind the show and take a look. Oh, we're several answers in the right decade, but you just keep missing the magic number there. So sorry. What happened to replay on this stuff? My gosh. I thought this would be the easiest one. This was like, oh, this is going to be a 5-second. Well, we've got within 2 years on one of the answers so far, but still not there yet. Y'all are hitting mostly in the right decade. Oh, we're getting so close. I will say I have a number up there that is just one off. Still not seeing it. Still looking hard. Still looking hard. Oh, there it is. RC Yo-Yos, 1979. 1979. Very good. Does that put him in the total lead? I think that's 3 questions. I'm not sure he's beatable. Let me see how many questions I put in. Okay. Oh, well, actually, I've got 2 questions left, so it's possible to catch up with RC Yo-Yos. Question number 5. In 1940, Johnson & Smith Company sold the Dipsy Doodle yo-yo for what price? You must tell me the exact price on this one. Now, this is, you'll probably end up getting it immediately, and whereas the world class, which I talked about and said the year several times, it took you a long time. So anyway, Johnson and Smith Company. Remember the old Johnson and Smith catalogs that had all the novelties? You could get the what was it? The fart cushion. What'd they call those? You know, whoopee cushion. Yeah, the whoopee cushions. Not seeing the number yet. Not seeing the number yet. Now, remember, we're talking about $1940. $1 million. Little off on that. Yes, Jimmy was maybe alive then. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Let's see. No, I'm not sure he was alive then. Oh, we're getting really close to the price with Simcoe there. Really close. I'll just say Simcoe's answer is hot. Hot, but not there. You ought to check out Simcoe's last answer there, folks, because he is really super close. I mean, if there was a hot griddle, his hand would be burning. That's how hot he was. Well, RC Yo-Yos has come down from 1 million to 50,000. We're going the wrong direction, guys. We're going the wrong direction. Check out. Oh, Simcoe's going in the wrong direction too. Everybody's going in the wrong direction. We're getting close. Actually, this is interesting because, 5. No, well, still waiting for that magic number to come up. It's kind of an oddball number. That's why I threw it in here. Who would have thunk it? But it is Johnson and Smith catalog, so they had weird numbers for their things. And it was 1942, so you don't expect to have things. Okay, we've got a couple 5 cents. I think you need to go back to look at what Simcoe said, because on one of his answers, he was real. Oh, there it is. Canada Jack comes in with 9 cents. Yes, believe it or not, you could get you a Dipsy Doodle yo-yo for the exorbitant price of 9 cents from Johnson and Smith Company back in 1940. Congratulations, Canada Jack. But I think that seals the deal for RC Yo-Yos. He has won 3 of the answers. But I'm going to give you this bonus question. Anyway, let's see that image. Who is this on the yo-yo? Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm going to switch this to image here. Who is this on this yo-yo? Made in the 1960s, I would say. This is from the My Favorite Yo-Yo series. A lot of politicians and celebrities on these particular yo-yos. I love these, by the way. I'm actually going to do a little segment on them on the next episode is my plan, because there are quite a few of them out there. Yes, very good. John Bozung. LBJ, our 37th president. Obviously, the younger people are getting, it kind of looks a little bit like Jimmy Durante. But it is LBJ, our 37th president of the United States. And I believe that's the only one I know yo-yo associated with him that I can remember. So anyway, that was fun. RC, I think it was it RC Yo-Yos is our champion? You have immortalized yourself, RC Yo-Yos, being the greatest trivia person for the month of September. So something to live for, my friend, something to go down in history. So congratulations, you have earned yourself some serious Bandalorist street cred. Okay, well, folks, that's wraps up another episode of Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talks. Before we sign off, let me remind you the next episode is October 2nd, usual time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and blah, blah, blah. Check us out on social media. And always remember, you can never have too many yo-yos. This is Doc Lucky signing off until October the 2nd.